Okay, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to do a quick update and show you guys something really cool, which is a preprint server. So for those of you who are interested in research, this is called a preprint server where you can upload your work, provided that it is original research. You can put it on here until the time where it does get published. And this is like really useful if you are working on something that is important. So you can see this is a COVID paper that me and my team did. It is currently with a journal right now, like it's in the process of publication, like we are sending it off, and just that process alone does take a lot of time, waiting for a decision from an editor and reviewers and all of that. You're looking at around like 4 or 6 months of like time. So obviously, if we're talking about COVID papers, we have a need for papers to be published quickly. If you are especially working on something like this pandemic, and that information is vital and needs to be disseminated. So you have something called medRxiv here, which is a preprint server for health sciences. There is another one called bioRxiv, and that one's kind of more biology. So this one's for health sciences, and you can even see here. So what people basically do is they will upload their work here, and then when they wait until a response is given to them from a journal, like when it gets published, then you'll get another link essentially that will link from the preprint to the published work. But there's like many pros to putting your work on a preprint server, and I just want to share them with you guys today. So you can see here, for example, like if you're looking at COVID-19 preprints from both of the servers, you're looking at 24,540 articles, which is a huge number of articles. So what people do is they'll post their work here, and until it gets published, then until that time, then the work remains there, and as well as in the publication itself. So it's pretty useful for a lot of reasons. Number one, you want to disseminate your information. So if you're working on a vital piece of work, right? Like say you found a medication that's working, or a treatment protocol that's working for you, or you discovered something, whatever it is, like you want to put that information out there because it's so important, it's so vital, and we're talking about a public health pandemic. Of course, if your topic is not on COVID anyway, you can still post your work here. So that's one thing. But again, you want to disseminate information. So that's the one thing. Like the wait times involving publication are super, super long, especially if you're talking about health sciences or medical papers or medical journals, where these people who are the reviewers are likely academics or are likely also working in a hospital, and for them to take time off to read your work and examine it and analyze it and give a decision on it, this stuff takes a lot of time. There's a lot of delays, okay? So I think for many people, putting the work out there and your work is solid and good, putting it out there until that process finally completes itself is pretty useful. So the number one reason why you might want to send to a preprint server is because you want to disseminate your information while at the same time you have sent it off to a journal and you're just waiting for a response or until it gets published. So that's one reason me and my team decided to post our work on a preprint server. So this is our work here. I will go through it with you guys as well to kind of share with you what our findings were and why our paper is really interesting and super important. The second reason that I sent to a preprint server is because, especially since we're dealing with a COVID paper, anybody wants to be the first person to say something or to put out that information first. Like I said before in my video on the dark aspects of research, novelty is a huge problem with publishing. So if your work is not considered novel, you're likely not going to get published. And this is a huge problem because there are so many things that are in the way of your work being considered novel. And many of these have to do with where you are studying from or where you're located and whether or not you are receiving any money and whether or not there are so many barriers to what is considered novel. So especially since COVID is a new topic, right? So everybody had the novelty. Basically, if you were able to publish your work first, then you had the novelty, which was really convenient for many people. So what this preprint server allows you to do is kind of just to claim that novelty of your work, and basically essentially it's not a publication, but it's a timestamp for your work. Okay, so nobody can steal your work or swipe it essentially, or another research team can take that work and publish it elsewhere. So for me, I found there's a convenient part to posting your work on a preprint is that you can see the title of my work, you know what it is, you see my name, you see my co-author's name, you see a date that is associated with this, there's a DOI that you still get, and this paper can be cited. This not publication, but this preprint can be cited, okay? even though it says there's a disclaimer that has not yet been evaluated, the idea of somebody analyzing plagiarism in infection journals, COVID-19 papers in a cross-sectional way, that's my team and that is our work. So nobody can take that idea and then publish it. Like, you are competing against time, you are competing against people who likely might have a similar idea. So for me, I just like this idea where I can just place my work there so people can see it. Whether or not there are adjustments later to it during the peer review process is fine, but the idea of this particular topic, it belongs to me and my team. So I really like that idea of placing your work on a preprint server to kind of bookmark or place a timestamp to your work, so nobody else like beats you to it. Essentially, like if somebody beat me to this topic, there would be no point in me submitting it, right? So I'm like literally terrified that someone would do that, especially with my other projects as well. So just the idea that somebody, another team can figure out what you're doing, that's one thing. Or somebody else has a similar idea somewhere in another place in the world, and if they publish first, and then another reviewer sees my work, and then they say, well, it's been published and done already, right? The novelty is gone, then I've just wasted about a year worth of work here because of that. So you just never know what reasons anybody's going to reject your work for, and I'd rather just cover all of my spots, essentially, and place it on a preprint server. So I think that is super, super convenient. The other thing about the preprint server is there are, basically preprint servers are now the new norm, so you are expected to, and you are encouraged to publish your work as a preprint first before submitting it to a journal, for the very reason that you might have some vital information that is useful to people, and leave it on the preprint server until the time that publication happens to it. And basically many of the journals that you will send to will automatically actually place I wouldn't say effectively place it on a preprint server, but rather they will have kind of like a backup for you on a preprint server. So if you wanted to, there are preprint servers for the journals themselves. So what I'm talking about is something called Research Square. So if you're sending to Springer, automatically your work is kind of there. You just have to approve it to be placed as a preprint there. I don't know really, like this was my first time sending to a preprint server, so I don't know which ones are the best. I did hear that BioRxiv is better in terms of getting citations and getting a lot of traction, but I sent to MedRxiv because, again, this is the one for health sciences. So I'm not sure how the submission would have worked on Bio instead. The other one is Research Square. I didn't send to it. I could have sent to it, but I just went with this one because, again, I've seen a lot of traction on either one of these preprint servers. There's a lot of people who read them, who cite them, who use them. So these ones I think are a little bit more popular, so I'd rather send my work here. Like today is August the 10th, it's August the 9th, and it's already been tweeted 4 times. We can look at the metrics of the paper, see how many people have downloaded it already, like within a day. So you can see this was a previous version, so you're not gonna see those results, but let me just show you. So you can see here, like we've already gotten 4 tweets, for example, and the metrics for it, like 24 people downloaded the full PDF version and 225 people have read the abstract of this paper. So there's good traction on here with the public eye on whatever is being posted on MedRxiv. So for me, I've had a pretty decent experience here. I did have a little revision that I needed to do to fix a typo, and that was done in like 24 hours. So that is our work. That's what we analyze. I'm just super proud of this paper. I hope it gets published soon, and I'm just really excited about it. And I'm happy that I sent it off as a preprint. Again, like I told you guys, I am very much wanting to keep the novelty of this paper and kind of save it for our team and the hard work that they put in. I really like the idea of posting it as a preprint and kind of just saving the idea for us and kind of protecting it in a way by bookmarking ourselves to this topic, essentially. So that was something that was really convenient. I was really worried and on edge while I'm sending this paper and waiting for a response from a journal. I just like this idea that you can kind of save your work essentially by putting it on a preprint, and it's pretty useful. Like I said, like it's already getting some traction. It's only been a day and it's gotten like 4 tweets. We'll see how far it goes over time. But I'm like totally satisfied with my experience sending original work here. So these guys do not, like the preprint servers do not take reviews. They will only take original research. And like I said, it doesn't have to be COVID related. It can be any other topic. And I'm just super happy, and I can't wait to share it with you guys one more time when it gets published. But until that time happens, preprint servers are the way to go. I think they are definitely transforming the way we are sending attending our work, and just like disseminating our information, especially when it's so important and so vital. Like this paper is super critical of the work that is coming out from COVID-19 infection journals. It is negative information, right? So there is unfortunately a bias called negative bias that some editors will have, that they don't want to post information that is negative, or post data that is negative. And this is obviously negative because we were saying 41.6% of the work is plagiarized. So again, I'm aware that there will be some difficulty or some challenge in getting this paper published. I did send to a really nice journal that I like, that is very objective and very critical of just the metrics involved in scientific work. And this is one aspect of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their response is going to be, and hopefully it gets published. But if you guys have any more questions on anything, let me know. I'm happy to answer them, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.